bottom right-hand corner, our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Italy. He's, of course, going to be representing Team Clash. He is Reynor. Already going for the 12 fool.
Let's go! And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the French Zerg player himself. He is blue, representing Team Uplon. It is Denver.
I'm glad we didn't have to wait for DreamHack China to finish up on the mainstream light, because my oh my,
yeah.
If we did and then Reynor went for this 12 fool, that would have been a little anticlimactic, wouldn't it?
Ooh, at the same time though, Denver does not go for a hatch gas pool. He does open up with a gas pool opening, so he's not being, standard with his opening, which means he'll have an earlier pool, which means he will have earlier links.
Yeah, he's going to be able to defend against this initial wave very, very well. Will also be the first player to get link speed eventually. He's going for the gold!
Oh, I love it!
To see it. I have been waiting the entire season for a gold, for a Zerg player to grab the gold first.
And it's not me or Micah for once. It's not like we've seen this in Oceania, we've seen this in Southeast Asia, but now we've seen it for the first time here in Europa. Meanwhile, the boys are being pulled. They are spotted by Denver. Denver is well aware. There we go. We do have the spine being started in the mineral line.
Are you sure we're not in an A right now? Are you sure we're not in Taiwan, Hong Kong?
Yo, Denver canceled his
Korea?
hatchery. He canceled the hatchery. He needs the minerals. He's making a second spine. He knows Reynor is 100% all in. Reynor wants to straight up end the game. Again, Denver, all he has to do is buy a little bit of time for those spines.
He really does. He's buying himself a lot of time, delaying the spines of Reynor so well, pulling his own boys. Reynor is going to have 3 spines if they finish up, but Denver's spines are going to be a lot quicker. Reynor has to be so careful not to get in range of Denver's spines.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Queen almost gets surrounded again. It looks like the Queen may go down. No, so far, Denver's done a very good job at keeping it alive. The boys are on top of the spines. One of them gets killed, and the spines are now in range of those of Reynor. Mate.
Wow, Denver mineral walking so much better than Reynor here. Can't believe this is the game that kicks off today's EU broadcast, but I'm glad I'm here to witness it. GG is called. Denver takes game number 1.
Wow. Reynor with the disrespect. He's like, oh my god, these guys made me wake up early. For those wondering, we are starting DreamHack EU 1 hour earlier than typically we do, and because of that, maybe Reynor, he just wants to get through it. But yo, Denver, he gets a point on the board.
He does, and I guess it is important to mention that while Denver is sitting pretty comfortable in that 3rd place position, and obviously in this particular matchup, he's not favored to win. If he doesn't, the fact that he's able to even take a map here further solidifies his position. Even if he loses the series, he's still going to be comfortable in that 3rd place.
That's the thing, though. Like, Reynor has to be careful because a couple of things. This win isn't the most important for Reynor. Like, he's the favorite in his group. Yeah. He's going to make it out regardless.
Top, yeah.
Yeah, he is he hasn't lost a single series yet. But the same cannot be said for Denver. Denver, this win will matter for him.
It will. Obviously, even if he loses here, he'll have plenty of other chances to still make it to the playoff bracket, but you don't really want to be one of those middling players, right? You don't want to suddenly be on your last day of matches and thinking, I need to win this series and the series after this, and I have to have one of my opponents lose their series. It's always a weight off your shoulders. And speaking of weights off your shoulders, we are continuing the series on 2,000 atmospheres. LE, we're in the top right-hand corner of the map, running all the way in the top right-hand corner, going for a gas first. He is up 1-0 in this best of 3 against Reynor of all people, representing Team Uplon. It's Denver.
13-12. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the red Zerg player himself, hailing from the land of Italy, one of the best Zergs in the entire world, representing Clash Esports. Clash, it is Reynor.
Mate. He's gotta be warmed up at least now, right?
He may be dead, mate. Is what he is. Oh my god. So he's going for a hatch first. It makes sense, right? Like Reynor, he just kind of threw away a game there, and he's taking this seriously, obviously. So he's like, oh my god, okay, I need to calm down. I wanted to have some fun, and it's not working out. I'm going for a hatch gas pool. Meanwhile, Denver, it's his turn to really ramp up the aggression.
We'll see if he's able to get away with this. I have to say, I do kind of favor Reynor's chances if he recognizes what's coming his way quick enough. His overlords are making their way across the map. He should be able to see the Lings as they make their way.
Yeah, he should, as the Lings are moving out across the map. Reynor does. Okay,
so sneaky.
Finally. Okay, mate, 13-12. That's what I mean. It's hyper committed here with all these gas. So this is spotted by Reynor. Reynor's now well aware of the Lings coming across the map, but oh my god, again, his drone drilling, his micro has to be on point here.
It really does. It has to be on point at least long enough for his own Lings to come out, and even then, if Denver sneaks in a couple of banelings, then it's not looking too good for our red Zerg player.
It's not, as we do have a Baneliness, a defensive Baneliness here for Reynor. The correct choice. He does delay his own Ling speed, prioritizing the Banelings instead. He does have a spine behind this, and right now he's just trying to delay and keep his hatchery alive.
Yeah, and I suppose it does make sense. You know, Ling speed isn't as important when it comes to the defense.
Yeah. Oh god.
You can definitely get away with the right control, and Denver gets 6 drones right off the bat. He doesn't even need to kill Reynor here, and he'll already be ahead for the rest of this game. But honestly, there's a lot of pressure on Reynor right now. That Queen goes down, this hatchery should go down too. But Denver is out for blood. He wants to go for the kill.
Yeah, and the problem is that even though the hatchery's done, there are no Lings. Like, if Reynor has to wait a little bit longer for his Lings to pop out, finally they do. This hatchery's going to go down. Denver, he has his own hatchery behind this. He's starting to drone up.
What a fantastic start for Denver.
Yeah.
I don't believe what I'm watching right now, Light. Are you sure the players didn't, like, switch names?
Oh, mate, he's not done either. Like, he's morphing in more Banelings. There are going to be defensive Banelings for Reynor, so again, Denver has to be sick of... oh my god. Puppy, please.
All about the micro. Really good Baneling snipes from the side of Reynor. His own Banelings is still well alive. Good connection from both sides, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? Denver, he gets even more drone kills here, equalizing. He has to be so careful. But again, right now, his goal, delay the hatchery. You know, if ever a drone tries to sneak down the ramp, he just delays it, snipes it, and makes it, like, again, take even longer here as Denver has a hatchery back at home.
Yeah, he's starting to drone up now. He's containing Reynor on this one base for an incredible long amount of time.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, when it comes to Reynor, I would say you don't want to make him mad, because when he counterattacks hard. But mate, he's got a spine in his mineral line. He doesn't have a second base. I'm not convinced Reynor will have the ability to counterattack for quite some time, and by then, Denver can get some defenses up.
I have to wonder what the plan is now from Reynor, because sure, he's taking his hatchery. Does he really want to get into Ling speed? Does he want to skip Ling speed entirely and go straight into a Roach Warren, which I feel like is probably the better bet? He could do something crazy, wall off and go 2-base Muta. Regardless, trying to get back into a longer macro game is not going to work out here. Look how far behind Reynor is when it comes to the workers.
That's pretty massive. Denver taking this very seriously as well. He knows he's ahead. He wants to maintain that lead.
Yeah.
He's just throwing down some static D.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. He can afford to, right? Ideally, like, in a regular game, you could be like, yo, a spine, that's a little bit wasteful. In this scenario, Denver, he just knows he needs to maintain his lead. He doesn't want to, like, throw unnecessarily, and he does secure his natural base. Wow, look at that.
Okay, well, he doesn't necessarily need that spine crawler anymore. Yeah. I guess a wall is more important.
Yeah, in case there was a Ling flood, he would have the spine. But because there were no Lings coming across the map, because he has vision outside the natural, he knows that, sure, there are Banelings here, but it's not the biggest of deals. He should be fine. Should.
Being the operative word, yeah. Very nice decision making on the fly here from Denver. These Banelings are trying to make their way into the mineral line. They make their way into the mineral line. 5 drones already get taken out. 10! And just like that, Reynor has overtaken the drone count. I can't believe it. Denver had such a good start. A fantastic lead. And in a blink of an eye, Reynor stole it from right under him.
Man, he should have made that spine.
He really should have.
Unfortunately, even though Denver had the Banelings, I was like, okay, sure, trade Baneling for Baneling. That's worth it as long as the Banelings of Reynor don't get into the mineral line. But they did, unfortunately. So, Denver, his defenses were really lacking. Reynor, just like that, gets back into it, and economically at least.
Indeed he does. Tech-wise, Denver does have a bit of an advantage. Get a first player to get his lair, as well as that Roach Horn. He's actually going for Galoud with Constitution, so yay. Full switch into Roach.
Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot, especially if Denver doesn't take a third base. If he just goes for a straight-up 2-base Roach push, because he knew that he crippled Reynor early on, he can just go for a straight-up kill move. Meanwhile, Reynor taking his third base, droning up, getting a couple of upgrades. What's interesting is that there we go. Finally, the Roach Horn gets thrown down. A little bit delayed here.
Yeah, interesting that he prioritized Carapace instead. Guess maybe he hasn't quite decided yet how he wanted to tech up.
Yeah, as eventually we do have that Roach Horn. Eventually we are going to see that lair as well. Obviously Denver has a huge advantage when it comes to upgrades because his lair was done so much faster because of that economic advantage. Again, he does take a third. We'll see if he still will hit a timing with these upgrades though, with +1 and Guile.
I feel like he may as well at least test the waters. He doesn't really have too much vision on the map, though. He is unaware of this Ling Run by coming his way, so maybe Denver decides to play a little bit safer with his Roaches and keep them close at home.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Reynor, all that he needs to do is buy time. He needs to keep Denver at home, and so far these things are doing a very good job at it. Again, maybe poking in towards the third base, maybe even the natural.
He might be able to get a delay, potentially. Not quite. Banelings are a little too scary.
Yeah, exactly. Again, he's just poking and prodding, you know, just keeping the Roaches of Denver at home. Unfortunately, a lot of these things get shaved off, and now Denver feels confident enough to move out across the map with his huge Roach army. Reynor does have a spine defensively, he does have Carapace, does have a couple of Queens, but still, Denver does have those upgrades.
He does. So I think this is actually a really good position for Reynor. Already gets his Concave up first. That's not even counting the static defense that he's got available. Yeah. They actually have about the same amount of Roaches.
Yeah, I'm honest.
Denver has a couple of Banelings.
Yeah, unfortunately, mate, that Ling Run by 5 more drones went down. Reynor has a massive worker lead, and because Denver, he dedicated to this attack, which I don't blame him for it, Reynor, he's miles ahead.
He really is. Wow.
Like, this attack had to achieve something. Like, he had to deal some kind of damage, get a couple of worker kills, you know, maybe kill a couple of Queens even. But he got nothing.
And he's continuing to not get anything.
Yeah, he pushes in towards a natural base, but there are plenty of Roaches, and Denver, he does trade a little bit more inefficiently here. Gonna try and go for a surround, but the defender's advantage.
Yeah, his surround is about to get surrounded and will be chased away. Never really needs to pull back, regroup, and I would even say reevaluate from here. I'm not convinced the Roaches are going to crack Reynor.
Any kind of lead that Denver had earlier, it's no longer there. Like, I say that he will be able to hit another timing. You know, 2-1 when it comes to his upgrades will be very powerful, so he just needs to survive until he's able to hit that timing instead.
Yeah, survive, wait for the upgrades, make units for about 2-ish minutes. No, that's too long. Make units for as long as his upgrades are still researching. And then he should... I don't know, he will have a pretty good timing, but at the same time, just look at the army supply difference slide, and Reynor has done nothing but pump out Roaches once he saturated his third base.
Yeah, to be fair, Denver's going to be doing the same here. You know, as he is now the defender, he's getting a spine up, he has his Queens. Reynor is opting not to utilize any Ravagers, just pure Roach at this point. We'll see if he can break through the defenses of Denver. Oh my
These
god.
Roaches definitely look tough, and he's breaking through. There's a bit of a window here where the upgrades are even, but Reynor has a much higher army supply, and he pounces right on top of the army of Denver.
Man, I feel so bad for Denver. Oh my god. As the Roaches just plow on forward, Reynor's like, mate, you thought you were ahead in the early game, killing my hatchery, killing my drains? Nah, mate, you know who I am.
don't make Reynor mad, because when you make Reynor mad, he comes at you with everything he's got. GG is called. And Reynor shows that he's more than able to shrug off flesh wounds at the early game and come back to take the W. We'll go to the ace match.
We are. I made. Oh my god. What else is there to say? Like, Denver, he did so well early on.
Yeah.
Like, he read what Reynor was going to go for in the early game when it came to the opener itself, and he executed his 13-12 incredibly well. And then suddenly, just everything turned in favor of Reynor. Oh god.
Those two banelings, man.
Yeah,
those two banelings needed to get those connections, by the way. If not, then I really think Reynor would have been down in enough resources for long enough that Denver would have eventually taken that game.
Yeah.
Fortunately, his split with the workers wasn't quite quick enough.
I mean, it was a couple of things, right? It was that moment with that baneling run by that we saw. It was the lack of split and the lack of control as well from Denver, from his own banelings.
Yeah.
But on top of that, even later on, when Denver was pushing out across the map, there were those, I think it was like 6 lings. 6 lings got into the main and the natural and got 5 more drones. 5 may not sound like a lot, but in a mirror matchup, that's everything. Like, that's...
It really is.
Oh my god.
Because remember, they were even for the longest time until those 5 drones got taken out very early on. And well, I say they were even for the longest time, but they were actually only even for about 2 minutes after the banelings got those 10 workers. Incredibly quick. But what else did we really expect here in ZVZ with Reynor and Denver?
Yeah, like, Reynor was so decisive there. Like, mad props to Reynor. Being behind in that scenario and clawing his way back, like, in such a fashion, like, that was beautiful.
Absolutely was. We were praising the timing of Denver, but honestly, it kind of felt like Reynor wanted to do something similar. It just was delayed. But because it was delayed, funnily enough, it ended up working better because he went for a counterattack timing as opposed to a timing push.
Oh boy. And here we go. We're diving into the ace match, game number 3, and I'm so curious to see what the openers are going to be. We've seen a 12-4, we've seen a 13-12. Are we going to see a 12-11?
Mate, it was a 12-pool spine rush, is what we saw.
Yeah, the boys were pulled as well. True.
I want to see both players do a 12-full spine rush now. Game. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in a game of StarCraft 2, but that's to be determined here on Lightshade LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spotting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, the Red Zerg player from the land of Italia. He is, of course, going to be representing Team Clash. He is Reynor.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the French Zerg player. He is blue, representing Team Uplon. It is Denver. And, mate, there's a world out there where he would have 2-0'd Reynor. Like, like, there's a very real world out there where that could have happened.
Really was. There's a world out there where he 2-0's Reynor. We get the memes posted everywhere.
It would have been insane, man. It would have been insane, but that is not the world we live in. We are here in the ace match, and both players, neither one wants to take a risk. They both go for hatch firsts.
Finally giving one another the respect of not going for any early aggression.
Boy.
It's about mirroring each other for the time being.
Yeah, again, as to be expected, hatch gas pool, from both players, and really it's after this we're going to see where they start to diverge. You know, are we going to see a more standard game? Are we going to see third bases? Is someone going to wall off on 2? Are we going to see standard Ling Bane, or is someone going to skip the Baneling Nest? Oh boy, our first standard ZVZ opening.
I'm going to say yes to all. All of the possibilities you listed, yeah. I'm going to say, yep, we're going to see all of that.
Let's go. Oh, God. But yeah, I can't believe we're already here in the ace match. It's only been 20 minutes as well.
Has DreamHack China even finished yet?
Nah,
that's what I want to know.
It's still, DreamHack China is still going on, mate. It's still going on.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
They were right to let us start first.
Yeah, shout out to Maynard and Zeph. They're currently casting DreamHack China. I believe Coffee versus Maxed. Coffee versus Maxed. I think they're in game 2 or game 3. Yep. But yeah, massive shout out to them. We were casting DreamHack China ourselves earlier, but we finished up our series, and now we are starting DreamHack Europe. And ooh, Denver with a sneaky Evo chamber behind the main.
Oh my. Skipping out on Ling speed to get his +1. Obviously, he wants to try to line them up so he gets them both at the same time. But if Reynor notices, hey, buddy, you're missing Ling speed for quite some time, he should be able to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, exactly. Already we have a couple of slow Lings trying to slip in and get a little bit of scouting information. But look at that, Denver. He's already on the wall. Has a work on. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, Denver, please!
See the Evo chamber?
He knows.
Sees it now.
Oh,
wow. That was... I feel like we see something similar to game number 2 here, where Denver set up something incredibly well. He hit that Evo chamber for so long, and he was getting the body block up, but Reynor, he always finds a way, and he scouts that, which is why Denver cancels +1, goes into a quick lair.
I love the transition here from Denver. Again, if he gets scouted, then why commit to it? You know, it's just not going to work, especially when you're up against one of the best, when you're up against a player like Reynor. So, canceling and going straight into a lair, I love it. I want to know. I'm not really sure what to expect. We do see a wall off. He is taking all of it, mate. Mutas? Maybe.
It's gotta be, right?
Oh, God.
I definitely hope it's not gonna be roaches, though, because Reynor is reciprocating with +1 melee of his own, and that is the last thing you want to face.
Oh, yeah, we have no roach for him.
Roaches.
Mate, 12 Lings are on the way. Bailey Nest is done for Reynor. He will have that map control. Trying to break the 2 basing Denver is a little bit ambitious, so I don't know if he's necessarily going to do that, but he will keep an eye and deny any kind of third.
He absolutely will, but will a third come as the Spire does get thrown down?
Yeah. 2 base Muta, let's go. So this is a little bit scary, obviously. This can die horribly to early on roach pushes and roach timings once Reynor figures out what's going on, but Reynor is a little bit in the dark.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if Reynor didn't know what was going on, then he may decide to just go for that straight-up Bane bust into a Ling Flood, right?
Oh, yeah,
it takes a long time for you to get those Mutalisks out, really get them into fighting form. But because Reynor doesn't know what's coming, he's instead playing it safe.
You say that, mate. He just made a wave of 30 Lings.
Yeah, no,
he's done droning up. The third base is straight up gonna die. Not just the third, but Reynor wants to go for the kill. It's all on Denver to try and hold on. And unfortunately, Reynor skirted around the edge of the map with these Lings. Denver doesn't know. He has 1 spine on the way. He needs more.
He really does.
Oh, God.
Because eventually those queens are gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. This is finally spotted by Denver. He needs to get in position. No, don't get surrounded. No!
Fastest Lings in the West. And I just realized that there's still slow Lings from this side of Denver. You can really see that +1 melee getting their effect in. Look at how quickly those Banelings bust through.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how quickly that spine gets eviscerated.
And look at how quickly Reynor takes the game, mate, because everything is gonna go down. GG gets called. And Reynor...
Just as the Mutalisks pop out. Feels bad, man.
Just as they pop, Reynor takes the series to